Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Hello, logo, Logawinio. I don't know how to say that. Sorry, I accidentally had the music doubling in the background there. It should be over now. I know why it's happening. It took me a second there. I'm just finishing up a bit of link posting, and then we'll get to the stream. Hope everyone's doing well. Okay, almost done now. Check that, okay. Is that bad music doubling effect gone now? Oh, let me know if everything sounds okay, like usual. I'm just about ready to start. All right. Hello, John Bear. Oh, I guess I gotta turn the camera on. That'd probably help. All right. Looks like the chat box is working. Good. Hello. Hello, Sugar Candy Miniatures. Good to see ya. Thanks for coming to the stream, everybody. Let's put a model here so y'all can see it. How many of you watching either saw the video that this is in or watched any of the other live streams with this project? So, the video this was in was my, like, attempt at the Model Mayhem style painting tutorial video, but, you know, me being me, I wasn't feeling of making an actual standard, like, painting tutorial video. Can't quite remember what my mindset was like at the time. I'm just wiping dust off the base because it's been a while, but it was like my how to hand paint Gundam and manage burnout, I think the title was. And in that video, when I started working on that video, this project was already like a work in progress. It was just like my first big streaming project for 2021. And yeah, in that video, since the video was designed just for explaining my process more than the model project itself, and the model had already been started. I didn't finish it in that video. I finished all the black and the metallics, and then I started doing the gradient on the purple, as you can see here, and started some of it on the white. And yeah, I didn't finish the purple gradients across everything now that I'm seeing it. So it's just the black metallics and base that are like definitely done. Yeah, closer look at the head here. I think it's got a pretty cool head. I feel like I'll probably be working on the head this entire stream, but we'll see. And then we got a sword here. Like the purple on everything except the body, it's done up to the glazing stage and still needs edge highlighting. And then we got the gun here. The finish on the black isn't great. I haven't decided if I'm gonna like paint over that or let the top coat do the work yet. And of course we've got a shifter paint. I don't know if you can see the shifter paint with the camera here, but this is the underframe shifter paint is Old Silver Pale Violet, if anyone's wondering. Oh, so this is your first time seeing it? Logawino? Let me know if I'm saying that right. And hello, Shrekus McChekus. Thanks for coming, everybody. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the Vidarbatos project, or if you have any questions. It's pretty standard model Mayhem style. I guess I experimented a bit more with the base, but this is the first one where I was experimenting with putting underframe or shifter paint on the underframe, I believe. I got it right. Wow. That's good to know. Sorry, let me just clear my throat here. So, yeah, I'm gonna focus on the head, because it's been a while since I painted this, and I think if I can just focus on something small like the head, that'll be a good way to ease into it. But I think I said in the description or on my posts or something that I wanted to finish this by the end of the year, so that's why I'm starting it now. And, you know, it's not like a full project from start to finish, so I'm choosing to use the the smaller wet palette, because spoilers for the next video, I'll be using the Army Painter wet palette for that one, because I'll need more surface area. There'll be like a bit more of an, or it'll be like a somewhat proper start to finish paint job, so I'll save the bigger wet palette for that one. Doesn't look like this sponge needs to be rehydrated. Rehydrated, I should say. Hello, Doodlebopped. I'm the reason you started getting into customizing Gunpla. Wow. Well, I'm glad I could introduce you to a fun hobby that way, and thanks for coming to the stream. Okay, so the main question to ask myself here, let's hold this a bit closer to the camera, is do I finish the purple? The black, I finished the black on everything, so that's taken care of. I'm trying to wipe some of this dust off. Or is that a chip? No, it's dust. Do I finish the purple, like edge highlights and everything, and then focus on the gray? Or do I do the messy glazing that'll happen on the gray, and then do the edge highlighting of everything together? Let's just wipe this nasty dust off first. I'm just using a damp brush to do that. And I think I need to move the camera over a bit. Sorry for the shaky cam there. Shrek is this. I'm pretty sure it's just when I'm done wiping the dust off this, I'll go through all the kitbashed elements. The head doesn't have any kitbashed elements. The head is just the base full Mechanics Vidar head. Sorry, my throat's very phlegmy tonight, everybody. I don't want to make a bunch of bad mouth clearing noises. So this gun is from the high-grade Messer, actually. I'm gonna have to move the camera's focus point. Vidarbatos' hand, and it just fits over the high-grade Messer, so that just says something about how thick and chonky the high-grade Messer is, because its gun works well with the hand of a 1/100 scale kit. And then this sword is from the Master Grade Barbatos kit that everyone knows and loves, but it's Vidar's hand. And this, let's see, these feet pieces, I believe, are extra, or these waist pieces are feet pieces, I believe, are extra from the full Mechanics Vidar, I'm pretty sure. We got some added detail here that's from Master Grade Barbatos. Some of these feet elements are, like the front of the foot is Master Grade Barbatos. And the shoulders are obviously from the P Bandai expansion with Barbatos. And the backpack is from Master Grade Barbatos. So yeah, it is all just Vidar and Barbatos. So the name is very appropriate. Yeah, that's right, Fiverr. I have introduced you to Gunpla. It is fun. Look at me, just introducing a bunch of people to the fun plastic. Yes, I have been watching JoJo's Shrekus. I'm currently on like episode 6 or 7 of part 6. I think Fiverr's somewhere in part 4. Still doing very well, all things considered. I don't remember how long it took me to get to part 4, but it was a while. Now, I know I need to change the focus point to the camera, and then make it one step brighter. Oh, I need to actually look at the camera screen. Oh, that's why. We'll go there. Okay, sorry again for that shaky. Yep, still part 4. I think you should savor part 4. Well, I don't know if you've savored any part of JoJo. Every time you've described your experience to me, it's like, I mean, you're just like in it for the ride at this point. Okay. I think I'll just, yeah, the purple looks more or less done here, so I think let's just start with a nice simple purple edge highlight, and you'll recognize these colors. I use them on the Conquest models I was just working on, and then before that I was also using these colors with the Pop-Tart Nightingale artifact. Oh, it's today when they dropped, Netflix dropped the big, the next batch of Part 6 episodes? Is it like the rest of Part 6 now? Okay, I'm glad you're having fun, Fiverr. Actually, so I don't think we need, let me think, pure edge highlight? Yeah, well, to start the edge highlight, we'll need a bit of this purple. Oh, we got some drippage going on there. That was a close call. Let's just awkwardly wipe that off the mat. We don't want it to go to waste. Sometimes you get a paint bottle that you just, once you crack that lid open, it just starts spewing uncontrollably, and it's not a fun time. But these paint dropper bottles always get pretty messy by the time you like use them a lot. It's the very last episodes of Part 6. I mean, no part 6 spoilers, but I hear it's pretty, the latter half of part 6 gets pretty whack. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, just look at how messy this one is. I'm not even gonna squeeze it. I'm just like purely gotta wipe paint off with the brush. So this first edge highlight's just gonna be, what's this, blue violet darkened with some royal purple. 3 rounds of edge highlighting should do it. See how it goes though. Yeah, the names of the episodes can sometimes spoil. Okay, get excited everybody. It's gonna be the first brush strokes to touch this model in like half a year. You're here to witness it. Hopefully it goes well. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself or anything. Yeah, I think I want more. I can already tell I want just a little bit more blue violet. Sorry, I'm just I'm sure you're all just shivering with anticipation. So you watch me awkwardly wipe the paint off the nozzle. Speaking of things other than JoJo, I purchased Warhammer 40,000 Darktide recently, and it is a very good video game. It's just dripping with grimdark atmosphere. It's glorious. If anyone, if you liked Vermintide, then Darktide is just like a really good evolution of all the great things Vermintide did. Because it's like very much the same kind of gameplay, but they also like did enough to make it different. This brush is not the greatest tip. Yeah, we're definitely only going to use this brush for this first round of highlights. Oh, and if any of the 10 or 11 of you are watching checked out my latest video, thanks for your viewership. I appreciate it. I was expecting the video to do a bit worse since it wasn't Gunpla painting, but didn't do as bad as I thought. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you should. You might like it. You probably will like it. I thought it turned out pretty good. Yeah, this brush is giving me a bit of a hard time already. Thank you kindly, Fiverr. My favorite 00 suit. I can't remember if it's the, like, I'm not as familiar with 00 as I should be. So I can't remember if it's like the Quant, the 7th Sword, or the Exia, or whatever it's called, but the one, like, protagonist suit. The variant that has, like, the biggest sword, you know? Or, no, actually, my favorite from 00 would be the Grunt design, the Jinx. I think they're a pretty cool design. Final answer. What's yours? And I'm sorry to say, everybody, that I had to drink my Conch Zero before the stream so I could have the caffeine kick in. So it's not gonna be like a burp-tastic stream, but you know, I'm always like thinking to myself, if every stream is just chocked full of girthy burps, then maybe that's not a good thing. And I should have just some streams now and then that aren't just like a total burp fest. And then that makes the burp fest streams, when they do happen, more special. So that's my current thinking there. What if all of you are upset that I'm not drinking a carbonated beverage to fuel my burps tonight? You have my apologies. Dynamez is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, fair point, Fiverr. None of the designs in Gundam 00 are as good as the designs in Evangelion. In my opinion. But like comparing Gundam designs to Evangelion designs is always kind of janky. It's like they're not, I don't know if they're quite meant to be compared. Yeah, this brush is a bit haggard. Not going to be using this one on the video. I've got to remember not to actually say what the topic of the new video is yet. It's still on the like Patreon information only stage, but you know, I'll be posting a work in progress picture probably next week. The news will be out in the wild. The Virtues Upgrade. Yeah, I don't remember the name of that one, but I know which one you're talking about because I've watched a video with that model kit in it. It's a cute gimmick for a Gundam to have. Yeah, the show itself, Gundam 00, I've only seen, I think, 3 episodes of it. I've had a Master Grade Jinx in my backlog for a while. It just hasn't been the right time yet. My very first Gunpla that I built was one of the Jinx variants from Build. I can't remember if it's Build Fighters or Build Divers. And I eventually became the first one I painted too. You can see it in like a couple of my really early videos, I believe. But if I ever do a video where I work on that Master Grade GNX, I'll definitely be including more footage of that original high grade GNX. Or Jinx, or however you're supposed to say it. Yeah, that's one way to boil it down, Shrekus. You can kind of describe it that way. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna switch to the other brush now. This one's got a bit of a curled tip too, but it's significantly smaller. More suited for the task. Gotta remember to do the backside as well. Alright, let's do all the backside at once and just keep it easier on my wrist to focus on the front. I think we need a little bit of a line there. Like the gradient work isn't as good on the inside of this like horn section here, but it's far less visible, so I think it's fine. And in other exciting news, I got a bunch of minis in the mail today that I impulse purchased. It was like, I don't think it was a Black Friday sale, but you know, it was like a sale that happened around, you know, like a couple weeks ago, so it might as well be a Black Friday sale. Like minis I didn't really need, but I'm like, you know, procrastinated a bit, building the army lists. And be like, oh yeah, I could definitely use these units in my armies. And there are units for... I ordered some stuff for both my 100 Kingdoms and my Spires army in Conquest. So backlog isn't gonna improve anytime soon. When does it ever though, am I right? Hello, Caleb. Oh, we'll see you when you see ya. No rush. Appreciate you checking in. And hello, Ethanol. And good night. Thanks for stopping by. The wet palette's drying up real fast. Nice work, Ethanol. Hope to see those on Instagram or something. Hopefully you all can just vibe with the music while I concentrate in these tricky spots, like usual. Yeah, I feel like the last time I used the wet palette, the paint wasn't drying up as fast. I'm truly in the dry winter times now. None of that humid weather where I'm from, or where I live. Where I'm originally from, it is actually pretty humid. Anyone else working on anything tonight? Any modeling or hobby adjacent things? Or playing Darktide? One of the things I'm enjoying a lot more than enjoying like more than I thought I would in Darktide is the music. They like really crank it up and blast some fat beats at the like intense boss fights, and I wasn't expecting it, and it was just a really exciting time chopping up heretics. Oh, and I played some more one-page rules this week. Got a bit more of a grasp on the rules now. Next time I game with my friend, though, I think we'll play Conquest. Hello, Eric. The good old Night Crusader, nice fiver. How's that coming along? And you're painting an Auric Flamekeeper for your buddy's B-Day. I don't know what Auric Flamekeeper is. Is that a miniature? And now we're onto the back side of the fin, which thankfully has a little bit less detail to work around. Oh, that's so wholesome, Fiverr. Glad to hear. Oh, and you ordered extra special candy products. Nice. That sounds truly epic. Okay, Eric, I think... Okay, I've definitely seen that mini before. Yeah, out of all the Age of Sigmar models I've, like, ogled the most, I probably have not eyeballed the Fire Slayers as much. I'm just not much of a dwarf person, though. Feel free to write me into the Book of Grudges for that, I guess. I'm more of a elf boy. But truly, I'm more of a lizard man. Or a seraphon, as they say. I think I can get the rest of the edge highlighting done before I put more paint on. I think I'll just refill the palette. I think I am gonna go into like the inside of the horn sections and just do just a teeny tiny bit of blending because it doesn't look great. Could use just a little bit of work. Not actually gonna squeeze the bottle again, just wiping it off the nozzle. Hello, Kalinus. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Alright, now just for a little bit of blending in a very awkward spot. How do I even want to blend this? I guess kind of just like another edge highlight. Yeah, that's a tricky design in there. I think I got it well enough though. Oh, I know where we could use a bit more actually. Just a little bit there. There. Okay, let's not get too carried away. What if every cable on this night in the barrel of guns was red and white striped drinking straw? That's a lot of stripes. I mean, you could do less stripes if you made the red stripes thicker. I don't know how much that would help, but maybe that's something. Yeah, would you really want to start that Imperial Knights army we were talking about last stream if they're all gonna look like that? I guess you'll have to see how long it takes at the end. I don't know if you log hours on your projects. Sometimes I do, you know, like for the Sasabi commission I did, the purple one. Obviously that's a commission, so I won't be professional and log the hours. I'm glad I did, because it took way longer than expected. You're not gonna make a smart decision. I guess the question is what not smart decision it'll end up being then. There's something oh yeah, the other day I fell down like, you know, just a random retail rabbit hole of going like, oh, I wonder if what would it be like if I bought some of the new Infinity stuff. And then, you know, I quickly slapped myself on the wrist. I'm like, Liam, if you want to try the new Infinity, you have Infinity models you can play with. You literally just put them in a video. But those models I was mentioning earlier, the Conquest ones that showed up, that was my, like, my main impulse decision. Buy lately. Although, yeah, and I have some models from Privateer Press showing up in the mail too, so. And I got an email about that today saying that I need to pay customs. So that was annoying. But I guess I'll do it for that plastic. We have Infinity at home. Yeah, exactly. Nice, Kalinas. Well, yeah, it's easier to splurge when you're splurging on like a spontaneous new army for a tabletop game. That's like way more expensive than a couple master grades. I mean, I guess it depends on the master grades, but being impulsive with Gunpla is like a lot more fun and casual than being impulsive with Warhammer sometimes. Either way, I know we can all enjoy just the basic pleasure of buying a product for fun, indulgent purposes, even though we know it's not a smart decision. And at least with this Vidarbatos being a live stream project, that gives me an easy way to kind of track the hours. I think the hours I put into this project that weren't live streamed, I tracked in a notebook somewhere. Oh, because for a while I was tracking work I did for any video. Oh, hello 0EXE. Or 0xEXE111. Yeah, Fiverr beat you to the punchline there. I'm glad you both thought of the same "we have infinity at home" joke. Very excited for December 15th because that's when Parabellum Games is going to reveal the new faction that's coming out in 2023, which is supposed to be like a mix of ancient Greek city-state stuff with like cool construct beasts that are like clockworky. I know, it's hard to describe, and we haven't really seen much yet. All I've seen at least is like one miniature that's just like, you know, a Greek dude with the shield and spear, and then some art with the same dude, and also like a minotaur. As far as I can remember, it was just like a pretty regular looking minotaur. So that could easily spiral into a situation where I end up with a new conquest army that was not a smart decision. Yeah, it sounds like a J Punisher. You could just, if you come upon tough times, just open your own Gundam shop in the basement. Don't know if that's legal in your area. Or it's like a garage, make a sign for the neighborhoods like garage sale, but it's all Gunpla. And then in smaller text underneath that says something like, if you don't know what Gunpla is, then don't come. I don't know how rude that would come across as. Wow, Fiverr, you're just on fire tonight. I don't know if it's Queek or Queeque Cruise. This isn't for Gamma Wolves. It's like a display piece, although I guess I could use it for Gamma Wolves if I wanted. Its base doesn't match any of the other ones though, so it's like intended as a display piece. I'm gonna put it up for, or I've always been planning on putting this one up for sale once it's been done. It's just taken me so long. I've been distracted by other projects. You know, too much of a good thing in a way. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to Lagaunio. 1,500 model aircraft, boats, and bikes. Damn. Yeah, eBay them. I guess that makes more sense to eBay them. That's a lot of models you got there. I appreciate the mix of traditional scale model and Gunpla stuff. Yeah, $5. That was a good joke. I'm gonna have to use that one sometime. Last purchase of miniature. Amazing pun. Terrible business model for a miniatures company. Okay, that pretty much does it for the first edge highlight here. I think I need to rethink my brush loadout right now. I think we need to get out one of the heavy hitters for the next round of edge highlighting. Welcome back, Caleb. Ah, you build for competition, I see. Well, I'm glad you think so, Lagaunio. It's the person who commissioned the Sasabi. They're the only other person that has a model Mayhem piece in their house other than me. I've got 2 other kits for sale right now. One of them is the Gundam Age Kitbash, which is more of an experimental, like, traditional paint job. Well, traditional in the sense that it's like airbrushed and articulated, experimental in like some of the shading I did. So that's not like a Model Mayhem style project, but I am selling the LBX Fenrir model, which was, it's not on a base, but it's painted in Model Mayhem style. Should be in my Instagram highlights if you want to look. Right, which brush? Let's, I don't think I've even used this Army Painter brush for anything, so let's give it a spin. It's the Army Painter Wargamer Insane Detail. Yes, that's right, Sugar Candy Miniatures. I do take commissions. Alright, I'll at least consider commissions. Alright, now we're gonna mix in more blue violet. We will use a little squeeze of it. Yeah, I'll do a round of the blue violet and then probably just add a dab of white to the mix and do one last quick round, and then the purple edge highlighting will be done. Hand polishing, a metal inner frame for Master Grade Sasabi clear red kit. Oh, how are you polishing it? And that sounds like it'll be cool if I like the clear kits. And I think having, you know, a shiny frame that'll shine through the clear armor panels will look pretty cool. Yeah, that's true, Fiverr. I was gonna say, do you have it or is it the Clown Gobbos? But I guess you are the master of the Clown Gobbos. Or I guess J Punisher, do you, like, what paint do you, are you just polishing the bare plastic? Oh, I see, there's a metal inner frame released, I gotcha. Alright, so now we're doing the edge highlights that focus more on the actual direction of the light. So what's your preferred title then, Fiverr? Is it like the Circus Master or Metal Skeleton? That sounds pretty badass. Sorry, I'm gonna be talking a bit less now as these edges get edgier. Hope you'll understand. $30, is that the metal skeletons? $30. Get a bit more support from my hand now. If I had done work on the white parts of the head yet, or by now, I would be wearing gloves. Right now, I'm not going to bother. This brush is an improvement, but it's not amazing. It's not a fancy sable brush though, so I'll cut it some slack. Also, I'm not sure if there's enough blue violet in the mix. That's... yeah, I'll add a little bit more. Well, thank you. I do enjoy a good doing a good blend myself. I mean, the stuff I'm doing right now isn't really blending, but once I'm done the purple soon enough, there should be some solid blue, gray to white blending going on, I hope. Yeah, it took me a while to like get around to actually using sable brushes, and once I did, I was very impressed of how much better painting felt. It does feel worse when you like, or when they like break down, though, as all brushes do, just because they're more expensive. And even if you're good at maintaining them, they won't last forever. And if anyone's wondering why I'm streaming on a Thursday instead of my usual Friday or Saturday, it's just because I'm busy this weekend. Don't have an exciting double streaming week planned for you. But, you know, if it's nearing the end of the year and Vidarbatos has taken longer than anticipated to finish, you know, maybe I'll have another one of those weeks like I did with the Sasabe, where it's just a big old streaming week. Hello, Evil Anno. Yeah, SD Gundams are good for practicing. I've done that too. A brush. Like a synthetic? I mean, if it's a display, I'm assuming it's a synthetic brush. With replaceable tips, that could be interesting. With this being a project I started like so long ago at this point, there isn't like, I feel like there's less pressure. Cause it's like, I just need to match the, I mean, this is all arbitrary rules I'm coming up with in my head, but it's just like, oh, I just need to match the quality and skill level I had when I was painting this 6 months ago. I don't need to like, it doesn't have the same pressure of like every new project where you feel like you need to one-up yourself. Yeah, Barbatos is definitely a very edgy boy. I'd rather have an edgy Gundam than one with like a ton of big smooth panels, but that's just more for my painting preferences. Because, you know, edgy Gundams are good to edge highlight. I mean, if it's a lot of the like curvier, blockier, universal century designs, if it's like a newer model kit, then they'll have like a bunch of extra details added on top of those big, smoother designs, which I like. But yeah, if it's like an older model kit, it's just lots of big, smooth chunks. Which, you know, could be a scriber's dream, or it's a good excuse to do some freehand, but freehand's pretty intimidating. I've only really ever done it in small amounts. I should really do some more. Up a little bit there. You have exciting news, Caleb. What is it? You get into commission painting, nice. Yeah, Punisher, I've only done a little bit of scribing, but I don't know if I'd say I was a fan either. What kind of commission painting you gonna do, Caleb? Minis? Gunpla? Both? And the chat box widget keeps doing the janky thing where it doesn't display the messages as they come in and then dumps like 4 or 5 all at once. Not really an issue. It just slightly messes up the continuity, oh well. Okay, front's done basically. Nice, well good luck on your commission endeavors. And yes, track your hours, plan them out, very important. Nothing worse than getting paid a certain amount and then actually putting the hours in and it takes way longer than you had planned for. It's not a great feeling. Hello, Bo. Welcome. Glad you're a fan of that good old edge highlighting. Who knew that Gunpla would be so good for edge highlighting? Probably lots of people. You've basically seen this Vidarbatos project go from the very beginning, right, Bo? "37 miles of linear edges." Yeah, we were just talking about how they're edgy boys. Or I guess we were talking about Barbatos specifically being edgy. But he ain't the only one. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty legit way to do the commissions, Punisher. And a good way to like get the most out of your commission builds if you can also enter them. I think I entered that. Which one did you mention? IPMS. I entered the virtual one they had. I think that was in 2021. I think I got a bronze. I can't remember what the category was. And that was, I entered the very first Model Mayhem style project, the Purple Grays. Yeah, Bo, it's game color somber gray. Once I'm done this purple, that's what I'll be painting next, or be like glazing it up with white. Because the headpiece, it only has the edge highlighting done for the gray, and that's it. It goes very well with this purple. And then the somber gray was what I used to mix the highlighting color for the black too, so it's just, you know, chef's kiss, as they say. J Punisher on this one, the metallic like underframe parts I used P3 armor wash on, but on the like armor panels itself I don't do any washing or panel lining. I just, you know, like try not to paint in the panels and leave them dark, although maybe like every once in a while I'll sometimes I'll fix mistakes with panel liner, but generally I just like paint it up with the panel lines intact. Or like usually if I'm glazing up a gradient on something, like the base coat of whatever that color in, I just kind of leave in the panel line section and it looks pretty good. And then I don't know, on my Gunpla project, sometimes the inner frame is washed, sometimes it isn't. I'm still kind of experimenting in that area, I guess. Okay, we're on to the last part for the purple. Yeah, Caleb, that's how a lot of people get started with freelance work like that. You kind of need the need a way to cut your teeth, as you say. Yes, the ASMR paint water. We got some nice purple juice going right now. Gonna have some water and then we'll mix in some white. Oh, General Grievous themed Necrons, that's cool. Ore Sanjo. Hello, Emperor Kiva. Are you speaking in Japanese there, or? Yeah, forbidden purple drink. Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about oil paints. Or, like, you're not the first person to bring up oil paints, the painting Gunpla. I know I talked to one guy, or I was participating in a group project with a guy once, and he tried to do an oil wash on his Gunpla, but, like, it was on the bare plastic, so the plastic, like, crumbled right in his hands. The Gunpla died right in his arms. But, I mean, like that, you could still definitely use it on Gunpla if you know, prime and top coat first or whatever. I'm not that experienced with painting with oils though. I kind of like am pretty cautious about fumes and don't use my lacquer. That's one of the reasons why I don't use my lacquer paints that much, because I live in a tiny apartment. So for a similar reason, that's why I haven't really gotten into oil painting yet. Do we need more white than that? Maybe just one more drop of white. Ore Sanjo means you have arrived. I'd have to... Or like, that's not how I would say I've arrived, but I believe you. No, I just want to see the kanji for that. But welcome either way. But Bo, all my Gunpla are like pristine. That's part of my joke though, my Gamma Wolves mechs, which are, you know, like in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where it would make sense for them to be weathered up and damaged. They're all pristine, shiny, colorful mechs. But I mean, to each his own. Yeah, it seems like if you're doing any kind of grimdark 40k stuff, you should always seriously consider oil washes. Well, those neo-apocalyptic. More like neon apocalyptic. What was I saying? Those Iron Kingdom's Warjack kit bashes I posted the other day on Instagram. Those had some battle damage. I hacked them a bit. Well, when the way they were donated to me by Zimmy, they had some battle damage already, but then I kit bashed them with parts that were, you know, from unbuilt minis. So I had to add a bit more battle damage myself. Alright, thanks for coming by, Fiverr. Bye. Have a good one. Oh, well, I guess my model Mayhem style of mech is just as a little bit of cyberpunk in the post-apocalyptic zone. You know me, I don't do anything orthodox. Well, I do some things orthodox, I guess. My Conquest Last Argument to King's minis are fairly traditionally painted, I guess. You know, it's good to have a balance of different flavors of projects. Yeah, now I'm wondering if this final round of edge highlight I'm doing here is bright enough. I think it is. But there's always the temptation to just add like pure white at the very tip. But I don't know if that'll be too... Yeah, it is not just a suggestion. Yeah, I wonder if adding a pure white highlight would be like to have too much going on. So I'll probably leave it at just this highlight for now, and maybe I can always, you know, add more highlights to it later. Sorry, the head's kind of tiny on the screen right now. I could move the camera closer, but I think that would cause some focusing issues. So this is kind of the compromise right now that just comes from painting the head, which is small. Too many projects is too many projects for me. Too much is just enough. Nothing succeeds like excess. I mean, you gotta have something to procrastinate with when you get fed up with your main project. That's my excuse anyways for having multiple things on the go. So now that I'm done those Scorn minis and the Conquest minis and the Sasabi, and now working on this Vidarbatos, it's, you know, my number of projects on the go may become reasonable someday. Unless you count, like, you know, armies that I have that are like, you know, all the stuff I have collected for the army is not finished as a work in progress project, then, you know, it'll be endless, but I don't really count those. If it's like, if I've started the basing and the priming and the painting, then it's a work in progress. Is hoarding model kits still hoarding? I don't know. I'd have to be more familiar with the definition of hoarding, I guess. Yeah, perfect grade. I'm sure I'll try a perfect grade someday. I was hoping there would be a perfect grade Unleashed Zaku by now, but so far it doesn't look like it. Paint on the palette needs to be stirred up a bit. Punisher, maybe you're just one of those people that thrives under stress. You know, the right amount of stress, I guess. Okay, don't want to get too crazy on the inside of the horn there. The Fansar, I don't know that one. The MMM crew, triple M crew that has a ring to it. And if I was to paint a perfect grade in model Mayhem style, it'd probably take me like 300 hours at least. You know, assuming I did it, and I would probably, you know, come up with some kind of compromise solution. be a little ridiculous to hand paint the entire thing. You're wiring taillights on your bike. The footage of me and my friend playing one-page rules in my latest video, we were playing at the local game store, and then I found out after our game that we were playing on a Necromunda board. Which is like technically not the right size for what you're supposed to play one-page rules on, but you know, I don't think the people at one-page rules care. Sorry, the camera's going a little funky here. It's a tricky area to paint. Yeah, that's a good way to describe him, Bo. Sounds like some fancy custom bike action there. My bike needs to go to the bike shop. But it's like minus 20 degrees Celsius right now, so I ain't riding my bike anywhere. Thankfully, the game store is walking distance. Not that I'm walking there either when it's minus 18 or minus 20. I don't know what that is in freedom numbers, I'm sorry. Little tiny down there. Only one las rifle per sprue. Oh, I guess if it's Necromunda then. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got that saying, or like I accidentally, or I don't remember how I came up with it. It's probably like I subconsciously read it from a Privateer Press magazine. I don't know if they say your hobby your way, but I'm pretty sure at some point I heard them say or read them say your army your way. You know, like encouraging people to paint their armies in unique color schemes or whatever. And so that at some point in a video I said, yeah, like your hobby your way. Oh yeah, it was my first video. I said your marine your way as a joke. And then I reused that a couple of times. Yeah, I guess I haven't said that in a while. Probably because I felt like it was too similar to what Privateer Press was saying. Or maybe I heard someone else say it because it is kind of something you'll hear come up often. Because it's a good saying to promote. minus 20 is minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, unless paid. And then it depends on the client. The last commission I did, the client was good, and they're very much like, just do what you think is good. But you know, I still made sure they were on board with the decisions I was making before I committed to anything. All right, we're past. We're in the home stretch for this purple painting, and it's been an hour and a half. But hey, then the purple on the head will be done, so. Now let's do the back over here. Bit too much paint on the brush. Yeah, how often do they just want something off the wall, Punisher? Alright, just the front of the right side of this V-fin and the purple on the head is done. For now. Until I say it isn't. Yeah, I was gonna ask if what the majority of your commissions are. Is it just dudes that want, or people that want World War II planes and stuff? Historically accurate stuff? So I did my Spotify Wrapped yesterday. And I was expecting my most listened to artist to be Yoko Kanno. Because I've been listening to, or I'm always listening to the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex soundtrack. But it ended up being Yugo Kanno, the composer from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Which was a bit of a bamboozle for me. I think it was because there's just like a playlist I had that I ended up like hitting play on one of the Part 5 soundtracks a lot. Just not because I wanted to listen to that, because I wanted to listen to the playlist it was on, and it was at the start. But I mean, it was a good album. I saved it, and you know, definitely didn't mind listening to it all those times. So cool with it being my top artist for my Spotify Wrapped, I guess. And of course, anime soundtrack made its way into my top 5 genres. What else was in there? J-pop, degent, instrumental math rock. There's one more that I can't remember. Oh, cool. You build for pilots at the nearby airbase. That's cool. I can definitely see them wanting to commission model aircraft. Oh, I think I missed this part. I don't know if you saw my latest video, Punisher, but I had one little mention to a model plane in that video. My uncle and grandpa were into model planes, so that was my first exposure to scale modeling as a child. I'm more into history stuff now, more like ancient history or like the Middle Ages than World War II stuff, but at the time I wasn't that interested in historical models when Warhammer existed. I wanted to play with the fantasy stuff. They eat them up, yeah, I bet. Yeah, planes. A model plane is more exciting than a car to me as well. Okay, what do y'all think of this purple edge highlighting? Do you think I can call it done? I'm thinking it's looking pretty decent myself. I think at the very least for now I'm gonna move on to the gray. Which will be just a lot of meandering glaze work to start off with. Though warrants moving on to another piece just to use up the purple that's on the palette, and there's only a tiny bit. Yeah, I can just... I'm okay if this amount dries up. Yeah, well, I mean, there's the whole historical wargaming angle. That's like where the whole, you know, we wouldn't have Warhammer 40k in fantasy if it weren't for those historical minis games. If I was to play one of those, it would probably be, you know, like an ancient history-based one. Or I don't know, it's hard to say. I never thought about it that much. I've always been like, if I'm gonna go to all the effort of painting something, I would rather it be for a fantasy game like Warhammer. Yeah, I will be right back because I need to get fresh water to rehydrate the sponge and the palette. Sorry for the interruption, but I must do this. Okay, I'm back. Like I said, it's that dry winter weather. It's making the wet palette dry up faster. This is exciting content, isn't it? Watching me rehydrate the wet palette. I mean, it's kind of interesting, I guess. A lot more effort goes into maintaining the wet palette than I initially thought. You know, before they came a regular part of my painting. Because you gotta do like a surprising amount to make sure the paper doesn't like, you know, start curling up and all that. You can see there's like some bubbles under it, but okay, let's give this a little spin. Swap out the purple for the gray. Oh, and our good old friend glaze medium. So now our mix is just basic. This is just titanium white, golden high flow medium, somber gray, and glaze medium. This glaze medium looks like it needs a good mixing though. I don't have one of those vortex paint mixers yet. This is the Frontier Wargaming wet palette. It came with this Frontier Wargaming shelf stuff I got from a sponsorship in my, so that video came out end of September, I think. Is it end of September or early October? I can't remember. But this project was, or this was a project that's half finished already, kind of. So I'm using the smaller wet palette because I'll be starting the paint. I've already started the project for the next video, but I haven't started the painting for it yet. But when I do, it'll be using my bigger Army Painter wet palette, which you've probably seen before. This one, which I think is pretty, or I think like all the hype I heard about it, or it met the hype is what I'm trying to say. Like a lot of people are saying it was a good wet palette, and I would agree with that. The Frontier Wargaming one is good too. If I could only use one though, I would use the Army Painter one. Oh, I'm glad to hear you're going through all the videos. Take your time. I have one of my playlists is called the MMMayhem content zone, and that's like all my videos in chronological order, so watch that one if you want to see like the really jarring change in production quality from my first video to where I'm at now. Turns out when you make, or when you like make a bunch of videos, you eventually get better at them. Just you know, be gentle with the early ones. I'm not saying that just to like encourage you to like, yes, watch every single one of my videos, comment and like on all of them. Watch whichever ones you think are interesting. And you know, the more recent the video is, then the better quality it's likely to be. Let's see. Just gonna, for my mix here, I don't want it to make a total mess on my palette, so I'm gonna make a little like dip in there. We'll put some glaze medium in, just a bit of glaze medium to start. We'll do like I'll just start mixing that, and then I'll add some white. So I just don't want my paint to like spill everywhere. Probably to start, only need like Yeah, 3 drops. This would be a fun color to watch getting mixed. I don't know about all you watching, but I think watching colors get mixed together is amusing. I'm pretty sure there's a TikTok account that's just that. Just a guy working at a paint store, or no, I think I read a news article about him. He was working at a paint store and he would make TikToks of the paints getting mixed. And then when the management found out, they fired him, not knowing that he had just a massive TikTok following and that they could have, you know, like used that to help market their business. So he probably got hired by another paint company. There are, yes, I have seen Metabots model kits. I have seen those at a store before, and I think they're not Bandai, so the quality probably isn't as good, but they do exist. Yeah, streaming is a whole thing. I mean, like, some people, my streams are kind of between the 2 and 3 hour mark usually. But I don't know, other streamers, they'll just stream for closer to like 40 minutes to an hour and a half. Like with YouTube channels themselves, you can kind of like, it's kind of the Wild West. But yeah, it depends on like what kind of mindset you're in when you're doing the work. I can usually, or like typically I can handle the whole talking and painting at the same time, but I know some people are more about like the Zen quiet time or listening to podcasts. I mean, it's not like I do painting when I'm not on stream as well, so I'm definitely all for watching long YouTube video essays or listening to podcasts or whatever. Or the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 soundtrack according to Spotify. You know, the only way you'll know if you are up to it is if you try. My very first attempts at streaming were on Twitch. That was like kind of the platform I chose to just like see if I liked it on, and then when I decided I liked streaming enough to try and do it regularly, by then I was feeling like I'd rather stream on YouTube. And now here we are. A good high-grade kit for kit bashing, any kind of grunt kit, like in the anime series. I don't know how familiar you are with that Gundam anime series, but the grunt kits are like the ones that are piloted, like the ones there's lots of duplicates of, like the Zaku or the Greys. Typically those kits come with like a decent amount of accessories, and they're just like good kits to play around and experiment with, in my experience. But I find most Iron-Blooded Orphans kits are good. Well, it depends on what you're kit bashing with, I guess. If you already have something you know you're gonna kit bash with, then I'd say go with one from the same series. Yeah, now I'm just having to think about how this lighting's gonna go. Yeah, I mean the gradient's pretty straightforward. There's just a lot of edges to work around. ASMR for eyes. Just saw that comment now. Sorry, I missed it earlier. You'd rather sell feet pics? Yeah, that sounds like a lot to keep track of. And yeah, Punisher does have a point. Mecha Nerd, high grades are just good for kit bashing in general. Now I'm just trying to figure out how I want the gradient to go on this part here. Let me think. I think we gotta do it like this. Alright. Time for some more white now. Should probably do a bit of palette management as well to make sure I don't bleed into the sponge. It's one of my pet peeves. It's not like a big deal if your sponge gets contaminated with, you know, paint. As you can see, mine's stained a bit here. But, you know, I try to manage it anyways. Some water, then I'll add some white. What did you think I was going to add a drop of white? Just add a drop of titanium white to the water for a little refreshing pigment. Alright, I'll just try and keep that spot of white mixed there. Guess I should also be regularly comparing the white to the actual model here. Well, we'll do that more closer to the end when it matters. Oh, there's a burp. A non-carbonated burp for y'all. Yeah, for this underneath part of the helmet, like this should probably be as bright as we go. Since, you know, it's underneath, it shouldn't be getting as much light. And as usual, it's important to remember that this will look a lot darker when the paint dries. I'm glad the camera's focus hasn't jumped around too much. Seem to have gotten the height correct this time. Okay. Now for the next part, the gradient's kind of going the other way. Which, you know, it's anyone's guess whether that's the correct way it would work in real life. But, you know, also in real life, physics wouldn't let this mech exist, so... well, we're almost at 2 hours. I'm at least gonna finish up to the glazing part for the gray on the head. We'll see how long it takes to finish there as to whether I'll continue going and do the edge highlights. We'll see. I was worried it would take a lot more to get back into the groove of painting this model though. And right now it just feels like I picked it up like 2 weeks ago. It's not too bad. I mean, I did rewatch the bits of my video featuring this one before the stream, so... I do not live in any state. I live in a province in Canada. That's all I'll say for now. I suppose if you did enough of your own internet sleuthing, you'd be able to figure out what province that is. There's nuggets of information about it out there somewhere, I think. Okay, I think now I add just some glaze medium. Maybe switch to a smaller brush. Yeah, let's do a bit of that before we add more white. Let's just do just a little bit of blending work. Missouri, that's probably more humid than where I am. Humidity's just on the mind with all the wet palette management I've been doing. Okay, we've thinned that with some glaze medium. I saw a TikTok clip on YouTube where someone was like, "What state is Missouri in?" And the teenager was like, I don't know. I do have a TikTok account. I just removed the app off my phone a long time ago. Or not, it was sometime this year. I don't quite remember when. On camera, there you go. The Missouri state. Missouri is one of the states I don't know that much about, actually. Because, you know, as a Canadian, I'm decently knowledgeable about America, considering it's not my home country. It's my dad's home country, so guess I got that excuse. And you can all see there's like very red paint that was bleeding out from the very runny red paint I put in there. But that area is going to be getting a glow effect anyways, so it's totally fine. Although I should probably clean up this area a bit more. I probably don't need the glow effect there. Move on to the brighter part. Ika Canuck. Yeah, I mean, where I live too, there's the hobbyists very much hold the strategy of like get all the priming done in the summertime, so you don't have to do it in the winter, so you just have a bunch of stuff you can stay inside and paint. Yeah, I watched a Ray Studio video this week where he did some fun stuff with UV paints. I don't know when I'd try it though. I don't know how much more expensive UV paints are. Maybe if I saw them on sale, I'd pick them up on a whim at a local store. I don't I'd have to like come up with a good idea first before I committed to ordering some or whatever. I'm guessing that's the kind of paint you probably have to like special order at a lot of shops. Gotcha, Punisher. TM, what tabletop games I've been playing and enjoying recently? I haven't really played Gamma Wolf since I did the battle report. So I did a lot of Gamma Wolves over the summer to get ready for that battle report, so... And then... I played one game of War Machine and Hordes recently. The one that was, like, shown in that time-lapse in my video. But that was just a one game, so recently I've mostly been playing one-page rules and a little bit of Conquest. What's up, MJRL hobby stuff? Thanks for coming. Time to add more white to the mix. Oh, and TM, when I say one-page rules, I mean Grimdark Future Firefight, the kill team equivalent in one-page rules. Good old beer and pretzels. Saying, some people don't like that label, but I totally get what you mean when you say it. I think that the phrase beer and pretzels, it just like got a little overused and that bothered some people. Maybe like that was like thrown around a lot in like the early Age of Sigmar days, where people were trying to like justify the oversimplified rules. You know, like when Age of Sigmar launched, the rules were about like the same length as the one-page rules system, but not like written as well as one-page rules. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Mordheim videos get recommended to me on YouTube lately. Mordheim's pretty cool. I think like when it comes to playing a game like that, I would rather just play Dungeons and Dragons. Or if I want the like warband, or if I want something, that aspect of the game where I can have characters that level up and stuff, like Gamma Wolves has like a campaign system for that kinda, which is pretty cool. And I'd also consider like Frostgrave. I haven't tried Frostgrave yet. Or that Silver Bayonet seems pretty cool too. What seems the most appealing about the Silver Bayonet for me is the like setting, the like, I guess you would call it gothic horror perhaps? I don't know, it seemed pretty unique. But you know, it always boils down to that good old problem of which game, or you gotta pick which game to play because you don't have time to play them all, if any. Sorry, camera isn't in focus. What tabletop games have you all been playing? Yeah, I don't think that many people are bugged by the beer and pretzels term. It's probably, you know, I'm probably just like misremembering what someone said in a podcast years ago. Maybe it's from people who like want to take away the stigma Age of Sigmar might have as to not being like a good game balance wise, because it has come a long way and the rules have definitely improved a lot since it first released. Rimworld on the tabletop. Yeah, so far some of the areas on this, I'm like very confident in the glazing, be like, yes, this is where it's supposed to go. And then other areas, I'm like, am I doing this right? Not that that's ever stopped me. Perhaps a bit more blending before we add more white. I mean, it's pretty hard to, like, I don't, the times I've played a full game of Warhammer Fantasy, like, properly from start to finish, I could count on one hand. Those games can take a long time sometimes. This was good about playing the competitive War Machine for as long as I did. It's like you usually are playing on a chess clock, so that at least like makes it easier to manage your time. You can be like, okay, I know I can, you know, go to the gaming club and play a game and it'll be roughly 2 hours. At the most, maybe shorter. Yeah, Punisher, the last main video I did near the it was near the beginning of October. I painted a Gundam artifact, so already did that. Go watch it, you know, when you feel like it. I thought it was a pretty fun video myself. Yeah, campaign games are always cool. Iron Kingdoms is a fantastic setting for D&D. I ran a D&D game in it before they even converted it to D&D 5e. And yeah, the whole like running into new armies with models you don't know, and like you don't know the tactics or tricks they're gonna pull. I found that's something that can come up in many different minis games. Yeah, definitely in War Machine and Hordes. Oh, it's time for more white. Yeah, the artifact Gundams can make pretty fun Tau proxies for sure. Good one, Stefano. The Gundam enchantment, Gundam creature, and the Gundam land. I'd like to see what the Gundam land looks like. Yeah, judging on how my energy levels are now and how long the stream's been going, I'll finish the glazing of the white section of the head, but I don't think I'm going to be able to also finish the edge highlighting. That's my initial guess now. We'll see how I'm feeling when I actually finish the glazing. It would take some pretty hardcore creative thinking to come up with answers to what are the Gundam artifact or the Gundam enchantment. I mean, Gundam creature is easy enough to figure out. Gundam land, though. I mean, maybe that's just like the ground type Gundam from the 8th MS team. Let's try and do a bit of wet blending here. See how that looks when it dries, I guess. Yeah, I guess a diorama would make sense for land Gundam. Alright, see ya, Punisher. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. I'm sorry to hear that, Caleb. But you're doing the right thing. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate that. I mean, I didn't really... Well, I guess there was a decent amount of painting hours put into it when you consider I finished the Conquest and Scorn models for it. But, you know, it was like... Not my typical kind of video, so... I'm glad it's gotten the positive reception that it has. Because I wasn't sure how people were going to react. But it's definitely a video I wanted to get off my chest for a long time. Ah, those dang mouth bones. Yeah, I'm sure it's my favorite. It's always entertaining hearing other people's stories about the hobby and like the moment they realized, or like when they realized how much of a better deal Gunpla models are when you compare them to 40K. And yeah, I mean, I feel like lots of people also got hooked by like the Warhammer Fantasy in that early pre-teen, teen years. I feel like it's a common story. Yeah, and Magic the Gathering also is like a good gateway into like, or like if you end up at a game store to look for Magic cards, you know, that game store might also have Warhammer on the shelves that you notice. TM, the inspiration for my color palettes. I don't always have a specific inspiration for Vidar. It was literally just, I wanted to try and paint something white because I hadn't done it, or like something close to white, and then I knew I wanted to use this shifter paint on the underframe, so I started with this and kind of planned the color scheme around it in a way. And I don't know, I've like trained with, I'm not like a trained visual artist or anything, but I studied graphic design and just been around a lot of art in my life, and I've just been, I guess I've gotten a decent amount of practice with like color theory and stuff like that, if that's a thing you can practice. But I've always enjoyed figuring out color schemes and recoloring things. So that's good feedback to hear that, would you say that I've got strong central theme with most of them, because I do put a decent amount of thought into it. Rotato soundtrack? I don't know. I don't think so. I get all the music used in the background for this stream is from Artlist. That's a website, Artlist. It's kind of like Epidemic Sound, but you know, just a different site. Let's add some glaze medium. But I don't know what Brotato is, so I can't tell you. Probably. I mean, I picked Artlist because I liked the way their licensing worked. So whoever made Brotato probably did the same. They have a very artist-friendly license. Yeah, I'm wondering if I need more along the bottom here, more of the white. Let's start with just a bit of that. Too much on the brush. Nah, Caleb, me and Blue Parappa, we're forcing ourselves to get through Rings of Power first, and then we'll like binge G-Witch at some point. Because by the time we get to it, the first season will be over, or the first core or whatever. I'm very much looking forward to it though. But sorry, it's taken me a while to get to it. I'm sure there's much you want to discuss. Yeah, that didn't even dry to be that much brighter. Yeah, that dries to be a lot darker. Yeah, what Gundam isn't a little cliche at times? Glad you're able to get your wife into it. Good job recruiting more people to the fandom. Do you watch other animes with your wife too, or has it just been Gundam? Yeah, see this section, when I was putting the color down, I thought I didn't think it was gonna dry to be that dark, interestingly enough. Sorry, I'm not talking a lot right now, people. I'm in the glazing zone. Ah, good old SpyX family sells at work. And Haikyuu. Too bad Fiverr isn't here anymore. They're a big Haikyuu person. Blue Parappa showed me an episode of Cells at Work. It was pretty cute. Made a little mistake there. Can I fix it? Not really that way. The flow state. Yes, exactly. I'm just gonna... I feel like I'm just gonna flow state through the rest of the paint on the palette here. And then it'll be time to wrap up the stream, I'm feeling. At a solid 2.5 hours. Standard Mayhem fare. And hopefully bring another stream next week. We'll see. Depends on how things go with the video. The project that's for the next video that is also being worked on right now. Both need to be done in December. I think I can do it. Rim shot, yeah, exactly. Let's add some more. I'm not gonna add any more paint, but I will add a bit more glaze medium. The thing I'm working on for the video is still in the patron eyes only stage, so they get early access to updates and all that. But either next week or the week after, you'll start to see, you know, the work in progress posts for it, so you'll know soon. It won't just be another typical Model Mayhem Gambles project, though. I'm still kind of figuring out the customization process yet, so I don't really know exactly what the video is gonna be like. And then other things I'm working on are boring things, like gotta do some major PC maintenance over the holidays. Fun stuff. Alright, let's start at the bottom of the head and work our way up again. Well, I'm glad you're so eager to find out, Caleb. Your D&D Patreon, like a Dungeons and Dragons Patreon you subscribe to? For like maps or something? Or minis? I appreciate you considering my Patreon. I definitely appreciate all the support I get on there, but also the free support you give by engaging with my content and all that. Okay, I think the blend, I do like the way the blend on the bottom looks there. I do need to get just a little brighter though. DM layer, yeah, that sounds familiar. Well, I mean, support whatever Patreon suits your fancy. no pressure to choose mine, but if you do, I definitely appreciate you. But I already appreciate you for being here. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, Patreon is essentially a tip jar, so I think, like, for anyone giving money to a Patreon should, and I feel like most people do this in the first place, you should do it just because you want to support the person, whether you get the rewards or not. I mean, unless, you know, you're pledging a lot of money and kind of expecting something. And I think a lot of creators who use Patreon will also... What's that? What was I saying? Patreon creators will expect that, like, people will donate money for a time and then move on to something else. I think that's reasonable to expect as well. Regardless of whether you offer rewards or not. I've seen plenty of Patreons that don't really offer any rewards. It's just like, what level of support do you want to pledge? Oh, well, I'm glad I've been inspirational for you. You just gotta be careful with the goals and stuff when it comes to stuff like YouTube and Instagram, because there's a lot of stuff that's kind of out of your control that you can't really do much about. So I would, like, hesitate to set too many goals that are, like, based on metrics and stuff, you know, like subscribers or followers. Don't get me wrong, getting all that stuff is, like, feels great and is good and exciting and provides certain opportunities. But it's also, like, if you focus too much on that stuff, it's a recipe for burnout and it feels bad, trust me. It's better to have goals focused on, like, the craft itself. And that includes the craft of model making and the craft of making videos, because, you know, that is a creative outlet in itself, is making the videos. So I would say, like, focus your goals around the craft. You know, say, instead of saying, like, I want to get, you know, 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 followers in 2023, it might be better to say something like, I want to, you know, paint this many models or try this many techniques or make this many videos, or a video that's about this that I've always wanted to, something like that. That's my general advice, I'd say. Just because, you know, you've probably heard before just, like, how stiff the competition is when it comes to doing the content creating stuff. Sorry if I'm getting up negative about this, but, you know, it's a opinion, or it's a topic I got a lot of thoughts on. But, you know, at the end of the day, you gotta be like passionate about the content that you, or the hobby that you're making content about in the first place. So that's why I say like focus the goals on that. Yeah, then that definitely sounds like a situation that would provide like a good space to take a risk and try and do something like that. See ya, TM. Thanks for coming. Yeah, it's just easy to get too caught up in the social media and analytics side of things, and then that can like start to negatively affect the hobby part, and you don't want it to like ruin. Yeah, and like doing commission painting work, that's like a whole nother thing too, like a whole nother thing to focus on. But you know, there are ways to, you know, make content out of the commissions you're doing or whatever. There's a ton of different ways to be a content creator now. There's no like one proven formula for success. It's the Wild West still in many ways. But you know, if you have the drive in you to give it a shot, you know, you should probably give it a shot. Otherwise it's gonna be like, if you never try, then there'll probably always be a part of you that'll be like, what if I tried, or I wish I had tried. Yeah, 15 years is long enough for sure. Yeah, if you're looking for like YouTube success, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you shouldn't do it for the money, because the money isn't great. I'm sure the people at the top like Miniac and Midwinter Minis, they make pretty solid money. But they're just two individuals amongst a sea of content creators. And they've also been doing it for a long time. You know, for them it's definitely a marathon and not a sprint. Although like Midwinter Minis, his channel did kind of blow up in 2020 when he only had a couple videos, so that's the other thing. YouTube's so unpredictable. It's like you can't really, it's hard to like have a good formula for success when stuff can seemingly go viral for no reason sometimes. Yeah, exactly. It's a cheesy saying, but it's true. I don't know, how's the head shading looking to everyone so far? Yeah, I remember when Ninja released his first video ever. There are a couple areas I like made mistakes, so I'll like be going back to tidy this up right before I do the edge highlighting. Oh, I guess now would be a good time to compare it, like I was saying before. Yeah, man, just comparing how this looks on the computer monitor to what I'm seeing with my eyes in person is a lot. Spoiler alerts, it looks way better in person. Okay, I think the gradient's pretty decent. Probably blend out the middle just a bit more. I got the paint on the palette after all. Thank you, Caleb. Alright, well, I am reaching the end of the paint on the palette, so if anyone has any last minute comments, questions, or super chats, now's the time to get them out. No pressure, of course. Continue lurking if you want. Yeah, I think we'll stop there. And I'll just hang out for a few minutes as a tutty up here. So I feel like by the time the next Vidarbatos stream rolls around, the head, I'll probably finish the head off camera just so I don't have another stream that's just all entirely painting the head. So next stream I'll either be focusing on finishing the weapons or probably, you know, like finishing the purple on the body or something. My favorite commander deck? Ooh, good question. I mean, out of the commander decks I have on my shelf right now, if I could only take one with me, I would probably take the 5-color dragon tribal one I have. Because I'm always a big fan of dragons, but I am a fan of the Fumiko, the low blood artifact based or equipment based deck I built a long time ago. Yeah, those are my two main commander decks. Give the brush a quick little clean too. What's your favorite commander deck? Oh yeah, and in terms of when the next stream will be, it should be at least, you know, towards the end of the December. I'll be busy like everyone else with family stuff. But there should be some streaming next week on like a Friday or Saturday like I usually do. Perhaps with Fiverr, haven't figured that out yet. And the week after that might not be a stream on the weekend because that's ideally when my video will be coming out. And then, I don't know, there'll probably be, there's always a few like dead days between Christmas and New Year's Eve. So probably like one of the final Vidarbatos streams will be like in that time period. Hello, Matthew Starks. Eloise Nephalia Sleuth deck, that sounds good. What color is that? If I do, if the worst situation happens and I don't, or I fail at my goal and don't finish Vidarbatos by the end of 2022, January is always a very dead month, so I'll definitely make sure I finish it up in the first weeks of January. I would be kicking myself if I didn't at least do that. Demir, cool. A sleuth would be Demir, I guess. Yeah, sorry, Matthew Starks, you came in just as I was cleaning up the brushes and wrapping up the stream, but you also probably heard me talking about when the next stream would be, so yeah. This one, the only reason this one's on Thursday is because I'm busy on both Friday and Saturday night this weekend. Artifacts and aristocrats. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got planned for the stream tonight. Just got almost finished the head. All that's basically left to do is to clean up the glazing work, get that to a point where I like it, and then do the edge highlighting. Although then I also have to do the glowing eyes, which doesn't take too long, but I'll probably finish that all off camera. Next stream I'll be working on a different part of the model. Yeah, sorry Matthew, but I'm done my big tabletop gaming video now, so I got time to stream again. Yes, you have been noticed. Okay, well, thanks for watching the stream. Thanks again, everyone, for watching the stream, and I hope to see you next time. Good night.